Imagine taking your #1 fear, if it was public speaking, which I remember it was for me when I was in elementary school, and I was the vice president of the elementary school because Denise Johnson was president and I had a crush on her. But I didn't look at the bylaws. See, the vice president led the Pledge of Allegiance every Monday morning on the blacktop on a microphone. So imagine taking that fear and making it your #1 asset. Our speaker this morning, a very good friend of mine, Maurice DiMino, does just that. He trains executives and entrepreneurs how to use their presentations as an income generating tool for their product or their service or their charity. He's developed an easy-to-use template that is so easy you can use it to create raving fans. You go from zero to hero with confidence, character, and charisma. I've taken that course and you can tell I now ooze character, confidence, and charisma. He's the author of the book, The Art of Public Speaking. He's given over 1,500 paid presentations and one free one. And in 7 years on the speaking circuit has developed some battle-tested techniques. In 2004, he was the Los Angeles Toastmasters Best Speaker of the Year. The TED organization recognized him as an outstanding speaker, and in April of this year, he became a TEDx speaker at San Diego State University. You can find that speech online. He's taken his book, his years of experience of being a corporate speaker, and made it into a boot camp. The Discover Your $1 Million Message, which is incredible. At his intensive, you'll create a profitable, passionate, and very powerful presentation for your product. I've taken it and has made me a much better speaker. So you can visit his website, which is on the forms you'll be getting, and you can sign up for a free 30-minute consultation. It is a distinct pleasure of mine to be able to introduce Maurice DiMino.
Thank you. I think Abraham Lincoln said it the best when he said, "Better to remain silent and be thought of as a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt." Good morning, my name is Maurice DiMino. Welcome to Crafting That $1 Million Message. Now I have some good news and I have some bad news. What would you like first? Thank you so much. I like to start with the bad news. The bad news is this. I think Abraham Lincoln hit it right on the head. Every time we do open our mouth, whether it's one-on-one, one-to-many, or even with a loved one, you know what happens? That audience, whether it's in someone's living room, a conference room, or in a convention center, guess what happens? They judge you. They judge you whether they're going to do business with you or not. Now, I do have some good news from that. There is a way for us to prepare, in other words, to follow an easy-to-use template so that every time we do give a presentation, whether it's one-on-one or one-to-many, we can create raving fans. So before I go anywhere, I'd like to say 2 simple words to you. Thank you. I want to thank you for sharing your Thursday morning with me. I know that time is the most valuable commodity out there. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Definitely. And I know that you have probably other things to do than coming out to the Winnetka Convention Center and sharing my time with your time. So I want to say thank you so much for joining us here today. I appreciate your time, your effort, and your investment to make it out here today. In fact, I'd like to make you this promise. I would like to honor your time, your investment, and your effort to make it out here today. Is it all right that I do that? And how do I do that? Is by giving content. I want you to leave here ready to do principles, techniques that you can use starting the moment we're done. Is it all right that I share a lot of content with you today? All right. Also, as Hank says, I do have these intensive twice a year, so I will invite you to join us in October or May of next year. Is that all right that I do that? Now, before I go anywhere, let me teach you a little simple technique. Always thank your host. So I'd like to give a round of applause to my host. Thank you all. Promotion-minded. Definitely so much. Now, every time I speak, I always like to pull back the curtain and explain what I'm doing, because actually, you realize that I'm doing to you what I'm going to teach you on how to craft that $1 million message. Does everybody realize that?
Yeah.
Now, what did I just do by thanking the host? Well, what I just did was securing my next time of my speaking. Because I believe this, by being invited back again and again and again, that's another revenue stream. That's another what?
Revenue stream.
Revenue stream, right? Because I might not get you this morning, but maybe 6 months or a year, even 2 years from now, I might get you the second time. So you better believe it. I want to be invited back again and again and again, and it's amazing. I have this one client in Texas. I am like a regular there. Why? Because I make sure that I thank Elaine with a rousing applause and everybody pointing at her and all that. She goes, "Oh, Maurice, you make my day." Guess what she does? At the end of every event, she invites me back. Why? Because she realizes that every time I take the front of the room, I'm going to deliver content. I'm going to deliver that I'm engaging my audience, and not only that, I'm going to give you content that you could use. Now let me ask you something. When you present yourself, are you creating clients? I think that's okay. Because my mantra for the rest of the year is this: I don't want any clients. You know what I want? I want raving fans. Why? Because now I'm duplicating myself. Every time when they leave my presentation, again, whether it's one-on-one or one-to-many, they know exactly what I'm about. What do I stand for? What my product, what my service is. So that on the chance, they're speaking to a friend, a colleague, or someone that they meet at a Starbucks, and they say, "You know what? I gotta get better at this public speaking thing." What's gonna come to mind? Maurice DiMino. So this is my question to you. How many of you are doing some public speaking right now? How many of you are presenting yourself right now? Alrighty? Alright. Well, that's actually a trick question. Do you realize that you all do public speaking? So in other words, let me ask you something. You have a product or service. Do you mime to your prospects?
No.
No, you open your mouth and you speak, right? Does anybody get away of presenting their products without speaking? No, exactly. Thank you, Veronica. Exactly. You do not. So my question to you is, are you creating that profitable, passionate, and powerful message each and every time? So you might not grab them this time, but you're going to definitely grab them the next time. Or replicate yourself with raving fans. So I'm going to ask you again, how many of you do public speaking? That's what I thought. All right, fantastic. So let's get to it. Today I'd like to share with you, as Hank made mention, at my intensives I share with you my 26-point template, which you can find in my book, The Art of Public Speaking. I came up with this template, why? Well, prior to taking the stage over 10 years now, I was in sales. I sold and rented post-production equipment, editing equipment to the film and TV industry here in Los Angeles. Now, if you know anything about this product, editing equipment, it has a price tag of anywhere from $10,000 to $250,000. And as you can imagine, nobody bought this sight unseen. They wanted to see it. And this is where the epiphany came from. This is where the rubber met the pavement. Because I know my competitors had to present the same exact product, and whoever was successful at the presentation, they won the client. So I started to study. I started with the best of them. Les Brown, one of the top motivational speakers in the world. T. Harv Eker, Peak Potentials. Anthony Robbins. See, I believe this. The way to make money is to invest money. How much money you put in is how much money you get out. Would you agree? So I realized that, okay, for me to sell a $250,000 piece of equipment, I had to knock it out of the park with these presentations. So I started to develop a template. Why? Because I wanted consistent results. What kind of results? Consistent. And that's the idea behind speaking. I want not only consistent results, I want a consistent message each and every time. Because I am darn sure that if they're not going to buy now, they're going to buy later from me. Because I am going to be that resource. I made it quite clear to them. So I developed this 26-point template so that each and every time, not only did I get a client, but I got a raving fan. And in that industry, I became known as the $1 Million Man. Because I was doing about $1 million worth of business per month. I'm not saying this to impress you, but to impress upon you that yes, as soon as you open your mouth, that audience of one or many is going to judge you. Whether you're a complete fool, if I may borrow from Abraham Lincoln, or that you are their vendor of choice. So are you guys ready to work? All right, so do me a favor, take out your promotionally minded pens, all righty? And let's start working. This morning when you sat down, you got my worksheet there. It says Discover Your $1 Million Message. And the other day I was interviewed on a radio show and they said, Maurice, you know, everyone banters around that $1 million, six figures. What does that mean to you? Not so much that your client perceives it as $1 million, it's that you perceive it as $1 million. Because if you don't think your message is worth it, or you're delivering on every cylinder, then guess what? Neither will your audience. You have to realize this, as soon as you open your mouth, you become contagious. Do you realize that? As soon as you take the front of the room, as soon as you start presenting, your listener, your audience, they're contagious to you. In other words, they pick up on your enthusiasm. They pick up on your lack of enthusiasm. If you're dull and boring, guess what? Your product is dull and boring. So I think it's time to deliver and craft that $1 million message. So let's take a look at this. One of the things that I share with people in the first thing there is this: public speaking is a conversation. Public speaking is a conversation. A lot of people ask me, Maurice, I got to give a presentation. What exactly do I need to do? How can I really amp it up? You see, I think that when you do take the front of the room, be it in a conference room, on stage, whatever, you think that you have to do something, right? Like you have to perform, like you got to be doing something. No, let me take that off of you, all right? And this will help to decrease the nervousness. I guess I should have asked. How many of you still get nervous when you do public speaking? All right? The rest of you that raised your hands were too nervous just to raise your hand to do that, all right? Definitely, there is a little bit of that nervousness. Let me tell you something. I've been speaking for over 10 years. I still get nervous. If you see me over on the side before we began, do you see me pacing? Why? I'm still nervous. And in fact, I asked one of my instructors, Les Brown, I asked him, I said, Les, I want to do this for a living. How do I get over the nervousness? And I'll never forget what he said. You'll never get over the nervousness, Maurice. And you don't want to. I don't want to. He goes, yes, you got to realize that as soon as you get over the nervousness, that means you do not care anymore. And the audience picks that up. Again, if you want to craft that $1 million message, you got to care about your message. And one of the easiest things to reduce those butterflies, I'm going to say this: if I can't get rid of those butterflies, let me at least make them fly in formation, right? How do I do that? Public speaking is a conversation. So I got a little bit of homework for you. I want you to write this down. A little bit of homework for you. The next time when you're speaking to your best friend, I want you to pay attention. Yes, engage them and all that, but also be a third party and watch how you're conversing with them. Because that's the same thing you're going to do when you take the front of the room. In traditional sales, what do they say? What do they buy first? The product or the person, right? They buy the person first. So if you're not speaking from the heart, if you're not conversing with them, and if you're speaking at them, you're going to have a hard sell. Talking about selling, I know that some people have like a service, or maybe there's a charity, or they're for a cause, and like, Maurice, I don't have to sell anything. I believe in something. Do you realize that's probably the hardest sell of them all? To convince somebody what you believe in? I'd rather sell this pen, right, than anything else. So public speaking is a conversation. So watch your tone, watch your mannerisms, watch your eye contact. Are you connecting with them? And a really quick aside, a lot of people ask me about that eye contact thing, is it 3 seconds, is it 5 seconds? Oh my gosh, I got enough to do up here besides looking at you, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, move, 1, 2, 3, oh my word, I got enough to do. So when you're speaking with your friends, you'll see there's like a natural cadence, right? When you kind of look away to gather your thoughts, then you go back to them, and then you look at this friend, same thing. Public speaking is a conversation, right? Let's connect with the people. Let me say this. Your words are not that important. Hard to believe that I just said that since I come from a public speaking background. But your words is not important. You know what's important? You. How you deliver those words. And I came to realize that, guess what? They are buying me before the product or the service. So how can we construct a message so that we can remove those words, if you will, and insert more of ourselves? And that's why I came up with this template, this 26-point template. So now I have a roadmap, if you will. I just have to follow these certain guidelines, and I will deliver a consistent message. And guess what? I'm present in the room. Alrighty? So let's get to it. Traditionally, when we present, if you belong to Toastmasters, we present open, body, and close, right? We present open, body, and close. Well, as I say here, that's great when you present, when the words come out of your mouth. But how do you craft that $1 million message? Now, this is where I'm going to get a little Sicilian on you. Alrighty, I'm 100% Sicilian. Both mom and dad are from Sicily. I'm first generation American, proud of it. And I could tell because I hear church bells every time I say that. Church bells start going off. I love it. All right, God is with me today. I love that. All righty. All right, pull the curtain aside. What did I just do? What did I just do? See, I don't care about the camera. You know what I just did? I just proved to you that I'm in the room. See, I'm not speaking at you. I'm present in the room. I heard it. I heard the church bells, and I reacted to it. So you know what I just did? Let me tell you something. This is a technique. As I said, I'm using the techniques that I'm sharing with you. So by saying, oh, the church bells, I just acknowledge to you that I, Maurice DiMino, am physically, mentally, and spiritually in the room with you, as opposed to, hi, my name is Maurice DiMino. Open your books to page 22. So anytime you can make that connection with the audience, do it. All right? Acknowledge the elephant in the room. That's what I learned from Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins says if there's something happening there, acknowledge it. It's a little technique so that you tell your audience, oh my God, he's in the room. He heard the same thing because I know there's going to be another cell phone that goes off, and you're like, doesn't this guy hear the cell phones? When are they going to turn the cell phones off? Let's get back to it. So we present open, body, and closed, right? But how do we craft? How do we craft that $1 million message? And this is where I'm going to get Sicilian on you. Why? Because Sicilians are passionate. If you ever see two Sicilians talking, it looks like they're arguing, and all they're talking about is how many scoops of sugar to put in their espresso, right? So let's get to it. So the Sicilian way, you see it says the Sicilian way, how we craft the $1 million message is this: close, open, body. How we write, when I say craft, it means write out. How we craft our $1 million message is close, open, body. And not only that, that's the order of importance of how we practice this as well. You see, the reason I put the close first is because, let me tell you something, if you don't mind, with all due respect, I am sick and tired of seeing presenters, professional people, they give me an okay opening, they go on forever with their body, jamming information down my throat, and then shortchange the close. Do you realize that all roads lead, not to Rome in this case, all roads lead to the close? Do you realize that's the whole purpose you're speaking? That's the whole purpose. That's why I call this one-on-one meeting, this three-way phone call, whatever you want to do for your marketing. I'm here to get to the close. Why do we shortchange it? From this point forward, we're not going to shortchange it. Yes?
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you. You're not going to shortchange it. All right, I'm just going to talk to Melanie now. Definitely my DDS of choice. So let's get to it. See, we call it, for me, we don't call it the close, we call it the bookstore, number one, the bookstore. Because this is, yes, again, I have to sell you something. I have to make my pitch. There's got to be transaction. So let's call it what it is. It is the bookstore. This is where I'm going to make my pitch. And let me tell you something. Your pitch could be simply to get your email address. Because the old adage was, whoever dies with the most toys wins. No. In the 21st century, whoever dies with the most email addresses wins. So let's be clear on our bookstore. And what I have to fill in there is call to action. Call to action. In fact, at my intensive, my 3-day intensive, I asked people these 3 questions, and I'm going to ask you the 3rd question, probably the most important question if you want to do business. How many of you like to increase your business? All right, that's okay. I just want to make sure I'm in the right room. The most important question you could ask yourself as a presenter, and again, presenter could be one-on-one in someone's living room, all the way up to a convention center, is this: what exactly do I want this audience to do at the end of this presentation? You may want to write that down. What exactly do I want this audience to do at the end of this presentation? What exactly do I want this audience to do at the end of this presentation? Now, why do I keep emphasizing this and this? Well, your call to action may change depending upon the venue, depending upon the topic, depending upon what's going on at each and every event. So what exactly do you want your audience to do? In other words, what is that transaction? What do you want to have transpired that when I'm done talking here today, I know exactly what I want to have happen with this audience? Now, when I'll be speaking this Saturday at the International Federation of Filipino Accountants and Tax Service, that's a totally different bookstore for them. What does it come to you? I want you to start thinking, I want you to start thinking now. What exactly is it? What exactly do you want this audience, the next time you're presenting, whatever it may be, you want them to do at the end of that presentation? Be crystal clear on it. Once you've answered that question, now develop your close. Fully craft it out. fully write it out. I always like to say the word craft. Why? Because when I say the word write, I think the human brain thinks it's got to be word perfect. It's got to be, no, craft. This is an ongoing process. I have one presentation, a corporate presentation. If you're to call me in to do my 2-day leadership skills for your organization, I've been doing the same seminar for the last 5 years, and every time it's different. Right? Because my audience is different. I'm a little different. The world's a little different. But guess what? I make sure my call to action is clear in each and every presentation. Is your call to action clear in each and every presentation? So start crafting the bookstore first. I love all these cell phones. Welcome to the 21st century. I gotta download that one. Number 2, I know traditionally we call it the open. No, I call it the intro, the introduction. Why? You're introducing yourself to the audience. So I definitely want you to craft this out the most and practice it almost just as much as the close, as the bookstore. Why? This is the most new information you're going to be sharing. People's names, Hank Ulo, Promotionally Minded, right? All these different names. And let me tell you something, what did Dale Carnegie say? Dale Carnegie said, nothing sounds as sweet as the sound of a person's name. So I want to make sure that I say the event right, the person's name right, and all that. Also, since I'm introducing myself, there's a dynamic that's going on. And in fact, I want to share with you my 2 favorite numbers. You see what it says, the 2 numbers? I'm going to share my 2 favorite numbers. 8 and 3. 8 and 3. All right? The 8 stands for, ladies, come on, right here, over here. Let's swing around, don't worry about it. They're yours. All right, there you go. 8 and 3. 8 stands for 8 seconds. 8 seconds. Alrighty. Can we have some handouts for these lovely ladies? 8 stands for 8 seconds. 8 seconds. Do you realize that within the first 8 to 10 seconds, your audience is judging you? They're judging you whether they're going to like you or not like you. So let me tell you something. Do you have your work cut out for them? They have them? Okay, great. Do you have your work cut out for you? Yes or no? Yeah, you better believe it. Being Sicilian, my gosh, in the 8 seconds, I probably can't even get the first words out of my mouth. So what are they judging me on? The way I look, the way I'm dressed. Alrighty? Gentlemen, let me let you in on a little secret. Ladies look at 2 things when you take the front of the room. You know what they look at? Your nails and your shoes. Right? They look at your nails and shoes. So gentlemen, let me introduce you to 2 new words. 2 new words. Mani-pedi. Am I right, ladies? Mani-pedi. All right, manicure. Make those, because people are judging you. They see how well your success is based upon how well you're groomed. Also your shoes. Okay, maybe they don't see the pedi, but oh my gosh, does it feel so good, right, ladies? Oh my word. I feel like a 10 pounds lighter after every pedicure. But again, why? Because they're looking at me. Also, within the first 8 seconds, what else are they doing? They're connecting with me with my facial expressions. Am I connecting you with my eyes? Am I smiling at you? Or am I looking at the floor? Am I looking off to the side? Or am I not looking directly? Let me ask you something. Right now I'm looking at your eyes, right? Now let me share how I used to do, because again, if I looked at your eyes, oh my God, you can see me public speaking. So when I first started, you know what I used to do? I used to look at the top of people's heads. And let me see if you can see the difference, right? So now I'm looking at you at your eyes, right? Now I'm going to look at you at the top of your heads. Do you see the difference? Am I connecting with you? No, what am I? It's like I feel like an amphibian up here or something. So again, in the 8 seconds, I want to do some simple things. I want to be dressed appropriately. I want to make that eye contact. I want to be smiling. Why? Because within the first 8 seconds, my audience is going to be judging me. I'm going to make that first impression. And one of the hardest things you could do is turn around a negative first impression. One of the world's hardest things. Your product, your service could be your charity could be the best in the world. But if you have a negative first impression of me, that's the hardest hump to get over. So I want to make a positive first impression. Now guess what? Your work's not over yet within the intro. We have 8 and 3, right? 3. 3 stands for 3 minutes. 3 minutes. According to my research, within the first 3 minutes, your audience is going to decide whether they're going to listen to you or mentally check out. Yeah. I've given presentation. When I first started, I'm speaking, yeah, everyone's looking at me, they're smiling and nodding, but guess what? The lights are on and nobody's home. Right, they're just going through it. They're just reacting to my tone of voice. So you better believe it, within those first 3 minutes, I gotta gain their attention. I gotta gain their what? Attention, exactly. So that's what it says there, get their attention. So I have my work cut out for me. 8 seconds and 3 minutes. How do I go through that is get their attention. Another thing, remember I said before, with all due respect, I don't want people to rush or shortchange the close. Another thing that I want change with my speakers, the people that I train, is this. I want to get rid of this. Hello, my name is Maurice DiMino, and welcome to Promotionally Minded Marketing Forum. I want to, oh my gosh, I've been to chambers, all due respect my chambers, I've been to chambers, B&Is, marketing groups, oh my gosh, every time when they do that 30-second elevator pitch, I hear the same speech over and over again. Yes, the content is different, but it's always, hello, my name is, and just verbal diarrhea for 2 minutes, and then, and don't forget to do business with me. I wasn't even listening to you. So the first thing we need to do is get their attention. How do we do that? Well, the first way we do that is there's 3 different techniques. Now I'm going to go deep. This is within my 26-point template. This is exactly what you're going to learn on my intensive. There's 3 techniques you can use to get their attention. Number 1, start with a question or questions. Start with a question. I love starting with questions. Why? Do you realize that the human brain cannot not answer it? Wouldn't you agree? See, look at that. You cannot answer it. Whether rhetorically with your mind or verbally. That's the way we're wired. If a human being is asked a question, it will answer it. Either mentally, rhetorically, or verbally. So there, I've engaged you. Now, of course, when we do these intros, anything is all designed for our message. So that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it, and this is another one that I absolutely love, is starting with a quote. I love starting with a quote. You know why? Some dead person did all the work for me. And not only that, anytime that I quote Abraham Lincoln, Benjamin Franklin, Martin Luther King, you know what they're thinking in the audience? Oh, he must be smart. He quoted Abraham Lincoln. He must be a really smart guy. I can be dumb as a stump up here, but by quoting somebody right away, I am making that first impression. Do you understand? See, there's psychological things going on, and that's what you're going to learn on my intensive. What can I do to go through that facade? Because trust me, ladies and gentlemen, I know what happens. As soon as Hank introduced me, I come up on stage and the walls go up. Have you ever seen that with a prospect? Yeah, you make a meeting with them and all that, and all of a sudden, as soon as you sit down, you just see them go, sell me. Am I right? We have to bring down those walls. And with the hello, my name is, the walls are going to stay nice and high and impenetrable. I have a lovely seat for you right here. Just iron that thing from the back. There we go. All right? I got to lower that. So by simply saying a quote, again, somebody else did the work, and not only that, I'm perceived as somebody smart. I'm making a positive first impression. The third way of getting their attention is make a comment. Make a comment, either pro or con, about your product. Now, recently I had a client that actually did the con against the topic. Can you imagine if I got up here, right? I got up here and I go, ladies and gentlemen, public speaking, you don't need it. It's not necessary. It'll never help you in your sales and improving your lifestyle. Now you're thinking, oh my gosh, Hank just introduced this public speaking guy and he's downplaying it. You're like, well, who changed the channel? Is the right guy on the stage? There, I'm engaging. And guess what I'm going to do for the rest of the time I speak? Prove me wrong. So make a comment about your product, your service, your charity, pro or con. And I challenge you to go to the con. One of my clients, Adriana Rio. Anybody ever heard of Adriana Rio? Because I know some of my good people here. You should. She started Rio Backpack. What it is, it's a kitchen table philanthropy. Right? So philanthropy she does from the kitchen table, and she provides backpacks to underprivileged children here in Southern California. Right? Through your donation, 2 children get a fully realized backpack. But what she came to realize is that, again, she's coming with her hand out, right? She's coming to get money from you. So she has to instantly lower that guard real quickly, or she'll never get your money. Prior to coming to my boot camp, she did about 600 backpacks in sales in a 2-year period. Not bad from the kitchen table, right? She went to my intensive. 6 months later at my next intensive, I invited her back to see how it went. I go, Adrienne, how you doing? She goes, oh my gosh, Maurice, we did over 2,000 backpacks in a 6-month period. I said, Adrienne, how'd you do that? Where did you speak? She goes, oh no, I didn't step a foot on stage. She goes, how'd you do it? I said, well, I did it online. I go, oh, did you do what Kay Wallace suggested to do and use the social media and all that? She goes, no, Maurice, I did it online at Starbucks, at Ralph's. You see, anytime she was interacting with people, she introduced herself by getting people's attention. By getting the people's attention, she lowered their guard, and standing in line for their Frappuccino, people opened their wallet and gave a donation to her. Isn't it time now we increase our sales? Isn't it time now that we share our $1 million message? So how are you getting attention? I want your wheels start to think. What are some of the quotes? What are some comments? What are some questions I could ask to engage my audience? So guess what? They're ready, as we traditionally say, they're ready to share their information with you, as well as their 16 digits and expiration code, right? Mm-hmm. We're not quite done yet. Let's do this. Golden nuggets, golden nuggets, golden nuggets. What does that mean? That's the body. That's the body. Right? That's the body of your presentation. Now the reason I say golden nuggets is because I've been to many presentations. They give me a quick intro, and then for the entire presentation, they're just vomiting, excuse the expression, they're just vomiting information. They're giving me their 37 facts. They're giving me their 15 benefit points. They're giving me their 67 features. Do you realize this? That the human brain, right, as you can imagine, I did a lot of study on this, the human brain can only handle a list of 3 items. How many items? 3. Now, if you're going to go on to 57 features for your product, for your home, if you're a realtor, and all that, do you think they're even going to be paying attention when you get to number 10, number 27? No, they're still chewing on, that's the expression I use, they're still chewing on 1, 2, and only 3, and then you've lost it. So this is my point. What's the goal? What are those 1 to possibly 4 golden nuggets? If I could share anything with you is this. Don't go wide in your presentation. Go deep. I'll say that again. Don't go wide. In other words, give me 27 points. Go deep. Because what I want to do is this. I want you to, as I'm speaking up here, I want you to experience my product, my service, my charity. Because if you're able to experience it, you're more likely to agree with what I have to say. And for me, agreeing is opening up your wallet, signing the petition, or simply give me your business card. So what are those golden nuggets? And some of my clients say, Maurice, I'm not really sure about my golden nuggets. Well, that's easy. Then this is my question to you. What turned you on to become what you are today? What was that one thing? What was the one distincting factor to say, okay, I'm going to sell this product, I'm going to do this service? Because let me tell you something, you were enthusiastic about it. Somebody sold you on that point, right? Remember I said you're contagious? Does everybody remember that from like 20 minutes ago? Again, your passion will come across if you share that one thing. Now later today, you're going to be hearing from Craig Valine. He's going to be talking about marketing. And I want you to be paying attention to that. Why? Because when it comes to your marketing, even when Kay Wallace is speaking about your social media, when it comes to your social media, when it comes to your marketing, let me tell you something. It's all in your messaging. It's all in the words that you use. They got great techniques, they got great ideas, but it comes down to those words. Heck, if you only have 140 characters, if you only have a quick comment, a quick blog, 500 blog posts, you better be clear on that. So what are your golden nuggets? What can you go deep with each and every time so that your passion comes across? And if I could share something with the golden nuggets is this. Engage your audience. What's the word? Engage your audience. Here, let me share. I'm sharing a lot of. Is that all right, Hank? That I'm sharing a lot of information today.
Share anything you want.
All right, I love this. Do you realize that I'm sharing a lot about the human brain. So far we covered the human brain cannot not answer questions. The human brain, what was the other one about the human brain? 3 items, thank you so much, 3 items, alrighty? The other thing about the human brain is this. Every 10 to 15 minutes, it's got to take a break. Yeah, yes, I know, yes, you'd be working on something for half an hour, but do you know that the brain has to mentally take a break? It has to check out. So if you're presenting up here for more than 15 minutes, for maybe a half a day or a full day, right, you have this full presentation, your audience is going to mentally check out. So if you're giving this laundry list, trust me, no wonder they're checking out, because they just mentally are exhausted from it, and now that they just naturally have to take a break. So what does that tell me? That tells me that I have to deliver segments. That's like golden nuggets. I love that expression. I'm giving you the gold and the word nugget, right? Is it a boulder? Is it a mountain? No, it's a nugget. So every time I give you a nugget, I engage you for that. Then I re-engage you with another nugget. Then I re-engage you with another nugget. And if you look at today, what did I do with you today? 3 golden nuggets. The bookstore, the intro, and the golden nuggets. See, I'm doing the same thing I'm sharing with you that you're going to be learning at my intensive. So my question to you is this: what are your golden nuggets? What was that 1, 2, or 3 things that engaged you at your event when you signed up for what you're doing? Now, if I may, this is not in your worksheets, but I want to, if I may do something extra, Hank, is that okay?
Do I have to answer? I can't answer that question.
Okay. All righty. What I like to do is this. I know that there's some chamber members here and all that, and I think it's great that you do your intro, right? You do your elevator pitch. So what I like to do is this. I've taken my 26-point template and I created what I like to affectionately call is my verbal business card. So when you go to your chambers, when you go to your networking group, when you go wherever, and you're giving that 30 seconds to that 2 minutes, let's present in a way so that it's cohesive, it's understandable, and not only that, let's create a transaction, even at this organization that you've been going to for the last 20 years. So real quickly, I don't have that much time, real quickly, let's go over the verbal business card. And guess what? You're going to see the template already in place. So if you want to flip over your worksheets there, let me share with you the verbal business card. Number 1, get their attention. Yeah, even in my 30-second elevator pitch, right? I'm not going to stand up and go, hello, my name is, because I know 50 other people are going to say, hello, my name is. I got to stick out. And we already covered how to get their attention. You can start with a question, start with a comment, or start with a quote. Now again, remember, time is against you. So you can't ask like 3 questions, you can't give a soliloquy. It's got to be short and quick. So what's a question? What's a 1 question? What's a 1 simple quote you can start? What's a 1 simple comment you can start to gain people's attention? Number 2, my name and the name of my product or service. And in parentheses next to that, please write this for me. Slow down. This is where you say your name and the name of your product. Why am I saying slow down? Because I'll be darned if you're not going to walk out with the transaction now. You're going to walk out with my name crystal clear in the name of my product. Because I know the majority of people, when they walk out, what's a new thing that people are doing with each other now? They Google you. Yeah, they Google it. And how many of you are Googleable? That's actually a Webster dictionary. Are you Googleable? So maybe you're not going to buy my service, you're not going to buy it, but I'll be darned that you walk out of here with a clear pronunciation and spelling of my name and the name of my product. So number 2 is my name and the name of my product. Number 3, let's change it up. Instead of giving me a laundry list of all your services and all that I'm just going to turn off anyway, do this. Benefit story. This is a phrase that I coined, a benefit story. Now, I love this because you're going to give a third-party testimonial. You're actually praising your wares, you're praising your product, but it's okay because you're talking about somebody else doing it. Benefit story. Tell me a story, a quick story of somebody using your product, using your service, and how they benefit from it. Why? Again, same thing. I'm allowing my audience to experience my product, walk in the shoes, and guess what? Everybody wants what somebody else has. If somebody experienced success, hey, I want the success too. So what's your benefit story? Next, Who's your audience? Who's your audience? If I've been going to this chapter for the last 20 years, I pretty much tapped it. But I want to make sure that when you walk out and you're talking to that individual that fits my audience, guess who's going to be top of mind? Me. Because I told you exactly who my audience is. My audience. Somebody that has been in business 2 or 3 years, making over $50,000 to $100,000 per year. They want to be clear on their message. That's it. Quick, easy to the point. Next, call to action. Call to action. What exactly do you want them to do at the end of this 30 seconds with this audience? So simple call to action would be something like this. Today, when we're done here today, give me your business card and I'll give you a copy of my book. Give me your business card at the end of today's meeting and I'll give you a white paper on how to get over the fear of public speaking. There, I've engaged the audience. So now people are running to me. Now I have a warm audience as opposed to just exchanging business cards that just get stacked up that people don't do anything with. Now when somebody approaches me and says, yeah, I'll be interested in that white paper. Now I have a warm audience to follow up with. Now I've engaged that individual. Right? Next one, offer. Make them an offer. I like to say make them an offer that you can't refuse. Now the offer is something that's outside of the meeting. So for example, visit my website and when you use the discount code Facebook, get 50% off of my next intensive. Visit MauriceDiMino.com. Did you see how that was outside of the meeting room? Right? Because I want to engage them not only in the meeting room, but outside. I want them to start transacting with me outside of this room. And the last step is, again, your name and the name of your product. Again, slow down. Because if they're not going to give me their business card, if they don't want to do my call to action, if they don't want to do my offer, I want to make sure that they get my name and the name of my product when they walk in. Now I know that seems like a mouthful for, let's say, I know there's some organization that only allows you 30 seconds. Then this is up to you. You pick and choose what you want to do. But let me tell you something. You should get their attention, their name, and your benefit story. At least those three. At least to engage the audience, stand out from the audience, and be crystal clear on what you want them to do. Now, that is just a segment of my template. I have 20 other points in it. And what I'd like to do is, if I may, Hank, if we can, pass out the invitation. I would like to invite you to my next intensive. Now, the reason I call it intensive is because it's me, you, and just 49 other people. That's it. Trust me, I'm going to be in your face. Because let me tell you something. For 3 days, trust me, I could talk to you and I could fill up 3 spiral notebooks. Am I right, Judy Ann?
Absolutely.
Judy Ann has been, and Hank's been to my intensive. Judy Ann's one of the top realtors here in the San Fernando Valley. She's the incoming president of Women Realtors. So what I'm going to invite you to do is I'm going to invite you to join me at my next intensive. It's coming up a month from now. It's October 18th, 19th, and 20th. You have your invitation in front of you. And it's going to be 3 days of work. I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be work. I had a young gentleman, Stephen Wright. He does interior design, is up in the Santa Clarita area. He's about 27 years old. On Sunday at 5 o'clock, he looked like he'd been through the war zone. I said, Stephen, my gosh, you know, I've been speaking for 3 days. You've been sitting there, you look exhausted. And he said, Maurice, I've never worked so hard before at a seminar. You give me a lot of great things to work with. So let's get to work. On day 1, we're going to walk through the entire template. The 27 points, we're going to walk through. When I say we, I mean, yeah, you too. I'm not just going to spit it out at you. We're going to cover a chunk of it, and then you're going to craft out your message right then and there. Because my guarantee is this. Come Sunday at 5 o'clock, you will have crafted your $1 million message. I want you to walk out with the product of the product. So my guarantee is that you're going to walk out with your $1 million message. Then on day 2, all right, once we have the message, how are we going to go about marketing it? How are we going to go out and reach the audience out there? And I'm going to bring in a speaker, Craig Duswalt, the Rockstar System for Success. How to go about marketing yourself like a rock star so that people are top of mind. Day 3, probably everyone's favorite day, monetize. Again, how many of you like to make more money? That's what I thought. That's why day 3, I crafted day 3 for you. Let's start generating those dollars. This time around, I'm going to bring in 2 speakers for you. One speaker is Linda P. Jones. She's America's Wealth Mentor. She'll share with you 3 simple points that you can do to up your income, both mentally as well as materially. Also, let's really talk about nitty-gritty. Let's talk about blank walls. What do I mean by that? Corporate sponsorships. Do you realize that every time you speak, you have real estate that is going unused? So Ron Seaver, one of the top corporate sponsor speakers out there, will be joining us on stage and showing you how you can monetize your business with corporate sponsors. And I know some of you think, well, that's not for me. Trust me, listen to Ron. It's going to open up a whole new world. So I have VIP admission. Everyone, I consider everyone a VIP. Why? Because it's only me, you, and 49 other people. It's $1,000. I do have some bonuses for you today as my way of saying thank you for joining us. You get a 30-minute coaching call with me. You get a copy of my book, The Art of Public Speaking. And if you want to sign it, it's at $5 extra. I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding. You get my Sicilian Mentor t-shirt, because I want everybody to dress the same. Does anybody know what's Sicilian's favorite color?
Black.
Black, exactly. Do you know why Sicilians like black? Because they're waiting for something darker to come along. So, limited enrollment, October 18th, 19th, and 20th. As I say, we're about a month away. In all honesty, I have about 5 tickets left. 5 tickets. Now, the reason I say 5 tickets, because those 5 tickets, what I like to do is this. Not only will I like to invite you, but I like to invite your colleague, your partner, your spouse, whatever. So it's for you and a guest. And just as an extra way of saying thank you for your time, your investment, and your effort to make it out here today. It's a way to say thank you to, hey, let's do this. Let's just cut it in half. So instead of $997, instead of $1,000, let's simply make it $497. $497. Today, you and your guests will join us October 18th, 19th, and 20th. Well, it's right here at the Marriott Woodland Hills. Really convenient, so you don't have to invest money into a hotel room. And I guarantee you this, that by the end of that day, you will have crafted, learned how to market and monetize your $1 million message. And let's say by Sunday at 5:01 p.m., you come up to me and you say, Maurice, I didn't learn a blessed thing. I will give you all your money back. Right? A 100% money back guarantee. Why? Because I am passionate about this. I want people to go out there and deliver their $1 million message. Every time you take the front of the room, whether it's in someone's living room, whether it's on a stage, I want you to interact and I want you to increase your income, spend more time with your family, and guess what? Simply to enjoy life. You know what I want you to do? I want you to become Sicilian. I want you to become passionate. All right. Thank you. We have time for questions? Any questions? We got 1 minute. I want to be, yes, by all means, Wayne.
Well, when you were mentioning the benefit story,
Yes.
is there, and I'm thinking about trying to keep things short, because I've seen situations where people go to tell a story and it seems to take 90 seconds. Are there some points you kind of want to hit?
Wayne's asking about the benefit story. How can I really bring it down to it? And again, let me tell you something. You have to work at this. Okay? Nothing's for nothing, right? So what I'm going to suggest to you is think of a client and see if you could boil it down. I actually studied Mark Twain and Abraham Lincoln. And there's one speech by Abraham Lincoln. He wrote a 2-page letter to his friend, and actually his postscript became famous. His postscript said this: if I was given more time, I would have written a shorter letter. So what I want you to do is, again, what are those elements? Person's name, how did they use your service, and again, the most important thing, what did they benefit? Did they increase their income? Did they enjoy life more? Were they able to interact with their family? I want to be crystal clear on the individual. What did they do with you, and how did they benefit from it? Walk me through that experience. All right, Wayne? Any other good question? Any other questions? No. Again, I want to thank you for your time, your energies, and effort, and I look forward to you joining us in October. Thank you so much. Are you going to give me away?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right, yes.
I'm going to give you one.
All right, listen to this.
Thanks for coming. I appreciate you being here at the marketing show. I took Maurice's intensive, and in fact, I took it the weekend before I was supposed to do a 2-hour seminar for the Chamber of Commerce. And I had my plan, And as sitting through the weekend, I was like, oh dear, erase, erase. And I had to change the entire thing, and it was far more effective. So I am a raving fan. I would like to give you Maurice for free. Would anyone like to Maurice for free? Would he be really There is a catch. But I give you,
There's an offer.
There's an offer. Everyone was given one of these flyers today, and one of the offers on there is a marketing plan put together by our marketing guy division of Promotionally Minded. If you take us up on that offer today and sign up for a marketing plan that we'll be putting together for you shortly, you get to go to Maurice for free. I will sponsor you into Maurice's weekend for free. But wait, there's more.
I love it. Like television.
How many people love holding their cell phone up to their ear? Doesn't that suck?
I love these things.
Would you hold my pencil?
Some pencil.
There's this little product here.
I love these things.
You plug it into your phone and you can actually use your cell phone like this. It's really, really cool. I'm going to give you this one just for being here today.
Nice.
If you take the marketing plan and you get Maurice for free, you get this for free.
Nice.
But wait, there's more. You get the largest pencil that writes. So, thank you for being here. Appreciate that. Thank you, Maurice. Appreciate you being up here.
Thank you.
And enjoy the show.
Thank you so much.